Morning. So you have some diamond jewelry that you're considering selling. What are you going to do with it? How are you going to sell it? How are you going to maximize the results and more today on Behind the Gavel with Jason? Thanks for watching. We do this every Friday morning, 11:45 here in Central Missouri, Central Standard Time, Kansas City, Missouri. And we're excited to bring you this series. Every week we talk about a different aspect of antiques, art, jewelry, auctions, estate liquidation, and the art world in general. And today we're going to be talking about jewelry, specifically about diamonds and auctions. I just share this on my page real quick. Last week I read a fascinating article titled "The Woman Shaking Up the Diamond Industry" by Ed Caesar in the New Yorker online. And it was really a really fascinating article, long form article. If you go to find that, expect to spend quite some time reading it. It took me at least 25 to 30 minutes to read it. That was with some distractions, but it's a long article. This woman owns a company that was based in Canada. They're kind of shaking up the diamond industry. They're taking some different routes. They're offering items, big diamonds, directly at auction, which has never been done before. De Beers has kind of cornered that market. And so they're really doing some different things, which got me to thinking about diamonds at auction in general. We sell a lot of jewelry, a lot of diamonds every year. And one of the most frequently asked questions is, what's it worth? How's it going to sell? How much is it going to sell for? What can I expect? Did some just some quick research on diamonds in general. According to theknot.com, which is obviously a wedding website, they say the average engagement ring is 1.18 carats.
There are no results for average.
Okay. That was odd. They say the average diamond engagement ring is 1.18 carats, and that the average cost is about $5,800 is the cost for the average ring. That's from 2015. I don't know why it fluctuated a little bit. Of course, gold values fluctuate every day. Diamond prices generally go up a little bit every year based upon the syndicates charging what they want to charge. Diamonds aren't necessarily rare, but they're a very, very closely held market, and the prices are extremely regulated by the producers. Most diamonds come out of just a handful of locations around the world. Canada's producing a good amount. Africa, I think South America has some, Russia. But generally speaking, there are very few companies controlling huge percentages of the diamond industry. De Beers, I think, controls something like 65 or 70% of all diamond production in the world. They also control diamond supply. So they must have warehouses full of diamonds that they're holding for when mines finally run out, and of course the expectation is that at some point they will. So again, average image ring is 1.18 carats. That holds true for us. We see most engagement rings in the 1 to half a carat to 2 carats. What we see mostly here in Kansas City at our auction house. Most diamonds are obviously set in engagement rings. Diamonds that are smaller than a half carat are usually used for surrounding other stones or creating a cocktail type ring that has a lot of bling, a lot of flash, but a lot of smaller stones to create a total carat weight. So some of the most expensive diamonds ever sold at auction, top 5: the Pink Star is 59.6 carats for $71 million. The Oppenheimer Blue, 14.6 at $57.5 million. The Graph Vivid Pink was 24 carats at $46 million. Princey Pink was 36.5 at $39 million, and the Orange Diamond at 14.8 carats at $35.5 million. You might have heard that there's the values differentiated not based upon the size specifically. Of course, diamonds are graded on the 4 C's: cut, color, clarity, carat weight, and what's the fourth one? What am I drawing? Cut, color, clarity, and carat weight. I got all 4. Larger stones are harder to find, and so larger stones command more money. On average, a 1 carat diamond is worth about 4 times what a similar half carat diamond is worth. So if you have a half carat diamond in an SI to the whatever the range is, you have a half carat and 1 carat. The 1 carat is going to be worth about 4 times the similar stone in a half carat. So what does all that mean when you're going to sell a ring? I mean, we're talking about a lot of values, a lot of numbers, appraisals come into play here, costs come into play. How about you just sell it to a jeweler? I mean, you bought it, you paid $5,000 for it from the jeweler. Why don't you just go sell it back to them? Well, jewelers obviously have a markup. The larger the chain, the higher the markup because they have a lot more advertising fees, a lot more real estate fees, and so on and so forth. Your independent local jeweler generally has lower set fees, and they're just they have less coverage, less overhead to cover. So they, generally speaking, a local jeweler will pay more for a stone than a national chain will. I'm not going to mention names. I've never sold to a big chain. I know that some do, some don't. But generally speaking, they work on a 25 to 40, maybe 50% profit margin, but they're not actually buying the stones. Most stones are sent on a consignment basis. So the manufacturer, the producer provides them a stone. Let's say it's, they're going to sell it for $5,000. They're going to pay about $3,700 for it, but they're not going to put their money up front. So they might have it for months in inventory. They might have it for years in inventory, whatever their agreement is, but they're not actually having to pay for it until they sell it, which is a huge change in when you're going to sell it outright. If you can own something to sell it without having to put out your money, your 25% becomes more valued. You've leveraged that 25% profit into something else. And so they're not going to put out their money for something that they're going to have to sit on to sell, and then it becomes a used object unless they reset it. And so most jewelry stores will pay 20%, maybe 30%, but usually 20% or so. So it's a $5,000 ring. They might pay they'll pay $1,000 to anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000, depending upon all the related factors. Is it gold or platinum, the quality of the stone, what their inventory looks like, what their seasons look like. Our jewelry is a very seasonal thing. Valentine's Day, they sell a lot. They sell a lot for wedding season, and then again for Christmas and the holidays. But during the majority of the year, the diamond sales, they sell some, but it's certainly not the high point. August is not a high point of the diamond market, so they're probably not going to spend as much money then as they would, say, in October or November. So that's something to keep in mind. If you can wait, you might get a little bit more money out of a jeweler if you just want to go right to somebody and sell it outright. Pawn shops are going to pay you way less than that, so I would never suggest taking decent jewelry to a pawn store. They serve a purpose in our society, but if you don't have to sell today, that would be my last option ever, to sell jewelry to a pawn shop. So if you go to auction, what can you expect? Well, we sell a lot of jewelry, as I said. We just sold a nice 2.16 carat diamond in a platinum setting. The appraised value was just at $20,000. With the buyer's premium, brought $8,900. Yeah, $8,900. So $7,700 plus the premium. So about a third to 40% of retail are actually have appraised value. And we all know that appraisals on jewelry are extremely inflated. That piece you could buy at a retail setting for, I saw as low as $11,000 on shops online, up to $13,000, $14,000, maybe $15,000, depending upon who's retailing it. Again, you pay more for certain names, you pay more for certain companies. If a company has an advertising budget of $100,000 a month compared to another company that has an advertising budget of $5,000 a month, well, that cost has to come somewhere, and it's in higher prices for the jewelry. So, we generally see 20 to 50% of appraised value at auction. And again, appraised value is much different than retail. Appraised value is the highest value you can attain, or the highest value associated with the piece. You won't ever attain it. Yeah, exactly. I don't know who's getting the thumbs up, but appraised value is a misnomer in the business. There's the only time appraised value comes into play is when you have an insurance settlement. You've had a loss of some sort and you need to file an insurance claim. That is when the insurance appraisal value comes into play. Generally speaking, retail is 30 to 50% less than appraised value. Like I just said, bringing that appraised for $20,000, I found online for as little as about $11,500 up to about $15,000. So, half would be $10,000 to 75% would be $15,000. So, that's right in that range of the retail is 25 to 50% less than the appraised value. So we generally get 20 to 50% of retail value. And that's a pretty good number when you consider that that it takes a lot of the stress off of the seller. And we're not the only auction company that is going to find those numbers for you. Any good auction company that sells any type of jewelry in quantity that has a good reputation is going to get those kinds of markers. We see a lot of jewelry activity. We do a lot of work with our jewelry. We have a good, Tracy Cayley comes in, looks at all of our jewelry before we offer it to verify that what we think we have is what we have. And so when you're looking to sell, there's a couple of options. Like I said, take it to a jewelry store. They'll pay you today, generally speaking, but they're going to pay for you like they're paying you, you're getting one offer from one person. They're going to pay as little as they have to. They're not in the business to pay you a lot of money. They're in the business to make money. And you do that in any retail setting when you buy. If you buy for the right price, you will always make money. If you watch Pawn Stars, leaving some skin on the bone, or American Pickers, they've got to make some money. There's got to be some profit in it for them. And they're risking their cash. Anything can happen tomorrow. I pay $10,000 for a ring today, and my house burns down tomorrow, my office burns down tomorrow. That ring is gone. As a business owner, getting insurance on those kinds of things is near impossible. And so we have to really consider that when any business owner is taking possession of objects. If we're putting out cash, we're going to pay a lot less than if you have some patience and can sell it on a consignment with a reputable company. And there are jewelry companies that sell things on a consignment basis, and that might be a really good option. They might have it for months and months and months, but if they have good buyers for estate jewelry, that might be your best option. Finding somebody who does tag sales and has a high-end tag sale, that could be a good option for you. There are several here, and I know around the country, that sell good quality pieces regularly. So those are your options. And then auction, like I said, find a good reputable auction company that handles good jewelry, and they can generally walk you through it. A lot of the websites have information on selling jewelry and other assets with them about what their clients are looking for, which is the same as everybody else's clients. They're looking for good, good cut, color, clarity, and carat weight is what they're looking at as a buyer. With online information, it's easier to sell jewelry now than ever before if you have the market, if you have the buyers in place to do so. Because it's easy for buyers to feel informed and educated and knowledgeable about what they're bidding on if you represent it correctly. And so we have seen our bidder interest and activity has increased exponentially since we started doing some really good verification work, spending some time and money on getting these assets looked at closely by a non-committed or a non-interested third party. And that's what you want to look for when you're looking to buy jewelry at an auction house, is do they sell what they represent they're selling? That's always the biggest question when you're selling online or buying online. So thank you all so much for watching today. Kansas City has been an exciting town this week. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl last Sunday. We're all pretty darn excited about that in Kansas City. Half the city shut down on Wednesday for the parade. It was great to see those young men celebrating, lifetimes of hard work at the highest level. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Tyrann Mathieu, all those guys just did a phenomenal job playing the Niners last week. It was a great game. Better if you're a Kansas City fan than San Fran fan, obviously. But there's been a lot of excitement in Kansas City about that. I have a great auction coming up in a couple, 10 days that I'll be posting highlights about here shortly. But if you have any questions you'd like us to answer on Behind the Gavel with Jason, please post them in the comments below. Send us a direct message. You can always give us a phone call at 816-283-3633 or drop us an email at info@kcauctioncompany.com. info@C auction company is spelled out.com. And we'll answer any of your questions about anything I talked about on Behind the Gavel with Jason today, in the past, or if you have questions about specific items, specific problems, or concerns that you have about handling an estate, handling jewelry, how you can best proceed with your situation. We'll be happy to answer all those questions. Or if you're just curious about something, let us know. We'll be happy to talk about that too. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Friday. If the end video, there we go. And